Well, look who's here. Washington Examiner investigative reporter Sarah Bedford. Sarah, it's so great to have you on. We've got news coming into the studio. CNN is reporting that President Biden is, quote, very obsessed with news coverage of the probes into Biden family corruption allegations, but that White House aides are afraid and scared to even talk to him about it because he gets really mad. It derails the conversation. It's not even discussed in Biden campaign strategy meetings. They just love the whole thing to go away, it seems, the President Biden like that. What do you make of all that?
Well, I think Democrats and the media really want to focus on those more sympathy-inducing, the more personal aspects of the Hunter Biden story, his struggles with addiction, the loss the Biden family has experienced over the past few years. That's all they really want to talk about. And I think, those types of leaks are sort of designed to focus on the relatable part of this whole situation, right? That's not really relevant, though, to why Republicans are interested in looking into this. It's not relevant to why voters are concerned. They really just care about where Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings intersected with his father's foreign policy portfolio. And all of the personal elements of the fact that this is an investigation involving the president's family and that can be hard for any father aren't really relevant to the questions that investigators are asking, and it doesn't absolve the White House from an obligation to be transparent about these things, which they haven't been so far. So this is a story about Joe Biden, and that may be why he's obsessed with the coverage. The question is, if everything is so legit and above board, why did then Vice President Biden use fake email accounts, at least 3 of them? Why did the Biden family use 20 shell companies to take in millions of dollars from foreign business partners? Why use burner phones? There are a lot of questions about why the Bidens did the things that they did. The shell companies, I think, are some of the most relevant questions. There's really very few legitimate reasons why you would structure a business the way that Hunter Biden and his brother James Biden did while Joe Biden was vice president. They had more than 20 shell companies, and the vast majority of those were created after Joe Biden became vice president to funnel money that Hunter Biden often didn't even pay taxes on. He's not faced real consequences for that. And you'll notice that the White House and Democrats have stopped really trying to defend Hunter Biden's work on the merits of what he was doing. You don't hear a lot of arguments anymore that, well, Hunter Biden was, uniquely qualified for this foreign business work somehow, that he had expertise, that this was all above board. Democrats in the White House have sort of quietly moved away from that argument because evidence has proven it false. Now they are just trying to point to Hunter's personal struggles and saying, well, whatever Hunter Biden did, that's wrong. I guess we can acknowledge that Joe Biden wasn't involved. And even that is starting to be proven untrue by evidence.
Let's watch former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe. Watch this.
These are Joe Biden's documents, and one of the emails on the NARA website is literally titled Emails Between Vice President Joe Biden and Hunter Biden Regarding Ukraine and Burisma. I mean, that's not a smoking gun. That's a smoking gun and the bloody knife. I mean, that's really significant evidence that we shouldn't just be finding about right now. And I think it's a shame that it's Jamie Comer and House Republicans that are doing the investigating. We now know that there's a confidential human source that said there were 10 million reasons why they would be talking about conversations with the Ukrainian president and firing the Burisma prosecutor. And the fact that Joe Biden is doing it under an alias with Hunter Biden, who has no affiliation with the U.S. government, only raises questions.
Yes, so DNI Ratcliffe was referring to Senator Chuck Grassley releasing that unverified FBI informant document alleging Joe Biden took $5 million in bribes and Hunter Biden took $5 million in bribes from the founder of Burisma, who had hired Hunter, and he was under a corruption probe. When you look at these fake email addresses, and we reported on this before, Robert L. Peters, Robin Ware, JRB Ware, that's what Vice President Biden was using those fake email addresses. Have you ever seen a vice president doing this? Because Comer is saying the National Archives, you got to release his fake email accounts and the email traffic, because he could potentially have been using them to talk to Hunter Biden and Hunter Biden's business partners about overseas business deals that would have affected foreign policy under the Obama White House and this White House.
Right, and I think one of the most interesting parts of that records request from Comer to the National Archives was a very specific request for every draft of a speech that Joe Biden gave in Ukraine in December 2015, from November 1st, 2015 to December 9th, 2015. Do they think that Hunter Biden's business partners were involved in drafting that? It's unclear, but that was, I think, a really interesting line of inquiry from them.
Interesting. Sarah Bedford, we'll have you back on. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's good to have you on.
Thank you.